on! Come on! Get in! Get in. I had genuinely forgot what it feels like to celebrate a victory. I've forgotten what it feels like. Look, overall, this was not a convincing performance. This was not a great performance. I don't come away from that thinking that we're 100% back by any stretch of the imagination. But a win's a win. And the way it's been for Chelsea recently before this game, 2 wins in 16, you take this. You take this all day. I expected us to lose this game. I'm not going to lie. I said it last week after we lost to Spurs. I said, genuinely, I expect us to lose to Leeds the way we had been playing. But, we found a way to get the win. If you look back on our channel, we've been basically bashing Potter. Ever since we lost to Fulham, I think probably over a month ago now, I've been saying he needs to be sacked, leave the club, etc. I can't fully do that after this performance. I can't do that because a win's a win. If I'm going to criticize him when he loses, I can't criticize him when he wins. I mean, I think I'm not convinced still, but a win's a win and you take it. Ultimately, I'm happy we got this win because it gives us a chance against Dortmund. Ultimately, our season kind of comes down to the Champions League. We've known that for a while. And I think this win could give us some momentum to play well in the Champions League. And, we'll see what happens against Dortmund. I mean, we should have won that first leg against Dortmund. So now we're going to be playing at home, coming off of a win. Maybe we can turn up on that on Tuesday and get a win. That's what I'm hoping for. But in terms of this performance, I still think it was relatively poor. I don't think it was great. But I don't think Leeds, they weren't really doing much either. I do like the fact that he switched it up. 3-4-3 looked like it was working. And ultimately, not having Reece James, I think, did hurt a little bit. I mean, Loftus-Cheek, he did all right. But I think it would have been better to have Reece James on the right wing back position. But I think this is the formation we need to stick with for now. I really liked the way the back three played. And it would probably be even better when Thiago Silva gets back. I really like the 3-4-3. I think that's probably the best formation we could play right now at this very moment. Fofana scored the goal. Great performance. Even if he didn't score, he was fantastic today. I think he's finally getting back into form coming off of his injury. I think he finally is starting to show why we paid all that money for him. And I know it's taken a long time, but he had a bad injury. And people, they like to criticize players so early. It's one of the things I don't like about football nowadays is because of the price tags are so big, people get criticized so early on. I mean, it's happening right now with Mudryk. He didn't play today, but people are saying he's about to be 007, 0 goals, 0 assists, 7 games. People get criticized so early on into their tenure at a football club, and the same thing happened with Fofana because he had a hefty price tag. But he's finally starting to show why we paid that price tag because he was fantastic today. Once again, Ben Chilwell played fantastic today. I mean, he is a proper left wing back. He is meant to be in a 3-back formation, him playing on that left wing back position where he can go forward and he can also come back and defend. That's his best position. That's when he plays his best. And he's showing that once again. I think that this is the formation we have to stick with. If we want to have any chance of winning against Dortmund, this is what we have to play. We have to play 3-4-3. And we were ultimately unlucky, I think, to not score more goals. Felix hit the crossbar. We had a couple other chances that, we just squandered. Kai Havertz had a one-on-one. So the chances were there once again. But today, finally, we got a little bit of luck. And, I'm happy. I'm really happy. I think, a win's a win. In the Premier League, you take it, especially when you've been on such bad form. You have to take your wins when you can get them. Ultimately, this might help us survive relegation. For me, I'm still Potter out at this very moment. But, I mean, you can get on a good run of form, and that can change. That ultimately can change. I really do believe that. I think that, this was a step in the right direction today. Anytime you can get a win, you take it. I mean, he was booed off. Chelsea were booed off in the first half, and it wasn't looking good. But to show the character to kind of come out in the second half and play better, you take that. After we scored, though, I will say it was a bit of a lackluster performance once we scored because you would have liked to have seen us go for that and put away the game right there. Because once we scored, we had the momentum. We could have, potentially went for the second goal and put the game to bed because Leeds really didn't look like scoring one goal, much less two. So if we got the second goal, I think it would have been done and dusted much earlier. So I would have liked to have seen more attacking substitutions. I mean, ultimately, we subbed on Gallagher, and I mean, I would have liked to have seen Mudryk come on. But that's really my only criticism of Potter today. I think I did like my only criticism of Potter today would be the substitutions. I liked what he did with the formation change, putting us in the three back. But I look at it and I say Gallagher for Felix, Zakaria for Raheem Sterling. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen better substitutions than that. But like I said, I can't fully criticize Graham Potter today because if I'm going to get frustrated at him when we lose and go on terrible runs of form, I can't be that guy who criticizes them when we win. I can't do that. So we will see against Dortmund ultimately what happens. I think it's going to be very interesting that game. You know, if we can get a win against Dortmund, my mentality on Potter might start to change. That would be 2 wins in a row, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Um, I think if I had to put, I think we'll beat Dortmund. I think that we will beat Dortmund. I think we played better than them in the first leg, and I know Dortmund have been on I know Dortmund have been on a great run of form at the moment. I think they've won their last 10 Bundesliga games, but I do think we'll find a way to win. I mean, we're at home, only 1-0 down, and we're coming off of a win where our defense looked really solid, like it kind of has the entire season. And finally, I feel like our attack did play better. We just need to be a little bit more clinical. But coming off of a win, that's going to give us momentum. And I think ultimately we will find a way to beat Dortmund and we'll move on in the Champions League. And, who knows from there? I mean, you never know in the Champions League. It's one of those things. Anything can happen. It's a knockout tournament. I think that we will beat Dortmund, though. Maybe that's my blind optimism, but I do think it will happen. And, all things considered, I think this was a good performance. I'm happy. I didn't honestly expect this to win, so I wasn't fully prepared to make a video once we won. I was expecting to to make a video, getting on Graham Potter again after a loss. So all things considered, good 3 points. I'll take it. I'm happy. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this match. Chelsea fans, what did you think? Are you still Potter out? Are you switching to Potter in? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll be very interested to see what other Chelsea fans have to say about this performance because overall, like I said, wasn't the best performance. It wasn't liquid champagne football, but a win is a win. And right now, the way it's been for Chelsea, you definitely take that at the moment. 100% you take that. So all things considered, I'm happy with the win. We will see what happens against Dortmund in the Champions League. But, without further ado, I'm Zach. We'll see y'all next time for another video. Peace and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1,000.